be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Hello, good evening. Welcome once again to another episode of Illuminati with my gorgeous co-host, Trix.
Thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you all to you for choosing to tune in to Illuminati with Crip and Trix.
As you well know, our program covers all things cultural, artistic.
That's right.
We've had quite a variety of guests. I don't think there's been any artistic or cultural genre that has not been represented in this
I don't
show.
think so.
But today we have a very, very special guest
And a very lovely one too at that.
who is both in and out of art and culture. Well, she's very much into culture and now is herself a cultural, artistic person. Without much ado, may we introduce the lovely Vicky Fernandez Zubiri. Hi.
Yay.
Hello, Vicky.
Thank you for being with us, Ma'am Vicky.
My great pleasure, as long as it has something to do with arts and culture.
We are actually breaking up this episode into two major parts because of the many hats that Vicky wears.
Yes.
For the first half, we would like to deal with her own individual artistry, creativity, because unbeknownst to some people who consider her simply as an art and culture philanthropist, she is also an artist in her very own right. And proof of that has been a recent exhibit of her watercolor paintings, which we will talk about.
Points of
Yeah.
Points of perspective.
Points
yes.
of perspective.
These are
and
Chinese and Western watercolor works, and they are so beautiful. I couldn't even believe that she made them herself. They look machine made.
Those are the note cards that
These are the note
that
cards
we
from that
commoners will be privileged to have to
This is the
possess
packaging?
a Zubiri artwork because her show sold out. The only pieces that were not purchased were the ones that she chose to keep for herself and her family.
We will be showing you some photos of her works later, but just to give you an idea, yeah, these are some of them. Look how lovely that is. Look
And
at all
that's
the
the
detail.
countryside of Tuscany is still alive.
Just go through
Now,
them briefly.
yeah, this is one thing
Chinese.
I wanted to ask about Vicky. What makes you decide when to paint Chinese and when Western?
I go to class Saturdays, and then it depends on my mood. If I want to paint my Chinese, I have something in my head to create. And with Western, I love Italy, the landscape, Africa. I like doing animals and also birds. From the very, very start of my career, since I was a little girl, I used to paint a lot of birds. Perhaps I always wanted to fly away.
Yes.
But I was inspired because when I was a little girl, I used to go with my mother to the house of Amorsolo when he was
Oh.
painting her, and then to the homes of Manansala, who wanted to paint me on the nude, but of course my husband said no. I should have done it and not shown it to him. And also with um, Ocampo, H.R. Ocampo,
H.R.
and the one who does the Tres Marias, that artist. I will remember his name later. Very
all the
famous.
masters, no?
Yes,
You
all the
you
greats.
sat in the field of the but when did you have your first formal training as an artist?
1970s, we were a
That
group of
early.
5 ladies who, 70s or early 80s. We were a group of 5 ladies who were taught by Virgideano oil, and we had our exhibit at Hyatt. And then I continued painting, and in the 80s, I was studying with Master Haushock, the great master who is now in Canada. And the studio was at Goldcrest. Do you remember Goldcrest?
Yes.
And then recently, about when I found out, I was looking for another Chinese master, and I found out that he's in Canada, so I went to Ateneo Confucius Institute. And my first professor there was Alex Chan Lim, and then now it is Professor Cesar Cheng. And then my friend, my girlfriend, Girly Diary, had Western watercolor in her house. So every Monday is there, or Wednesday, I go there, and that's where I started my Western watercolor. And I love watercolor. For
But
me,
even the materials are different, no? And like even the paintbrush that you use, no?
yes.
So it really
Paintbrush of
depends on
China.
your mood, what you take up for the day.
Every week I do Chinese and I do Western. It's like it relaxes my head. It's putting out what I have in my mind. Even for 1 hour, 2 hours, it's in my table is in my room, all set. After, if I want to sit down, okay, that's it.
So this is something you've been doing, ma'am, since you first got your formal training. It's something that's therapeutic for you, would you say?
Therapeutic. It's when you want to put out, when I want to put out what's in my head,
Yes.
And there was in this exhibit, I did 5 keyholes and one with a lock. It's like I was trying, not being modern, but it's like a keyhole, trying to figure out what I will open. That was going in my head. So I had photos from this very great German photographer, and I asked permission if I could do some keyholes, and she said yes. So that was my first step to being modern.
Speaking of that exhibit, I believe we have a parcel of photographs showing the exhibit activities as well as your guests and the paintings themselves. No? Okay, this is the billing of Point of Perspective. This was held only last month, right, Vicky?
Yes,
Last October.
only last week, October. What did it
Couple
say?
of weeks ago, I think.
Before
Yes.
the holiday.
Before the holidays, and I with Peninsula because the first solo exhibit I had was also with Peninsula, and
okay.
they're so kind to me, and it's for me good luck. Very
Yes,
lucky.
It must be because there's the tiger painting you were
That's
talking
the
about.
tiger
Yeah.
that I did for my son Miguel.
Okay.
Wow.
Ganda
That's
nga.
every single hair.
How long
Was-
does it take you to
That
finish something
took
like
me
that?
about a month.
I'm sure in person you see all the textures.
Yes, you will see the texture, and
Still life?
those are my still life. And
So this would be part of the Western tradition already.
Western.
Okay.
This is in the restaurant of my daughter Stephanie. Oh, this is 1930s of the Basque region,
Okay.
because my husband's father is Basque. And this was
Catalan.
first I saw this it's in my house, but the patchwork. I said, I don't want patchwork. I'm going to do this in watercolor. There, it's a
Okay,
scenery in the
I see.
1930s.
Preparing the bowls.
Those are my keyholes.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
So that one's thematic, no?
Yes.
Oh, and there's our
Ben
friend,
Tab,
Ben.
yes, who was kind enough to say yes, he could come. And Ambassador Tantoco, who
Okay.
was so kind to come. And this Professor Johnny Ventosa. He's the one who
I
teaches
see.
me
Okay.
and
I
my
see.
son and my granddaughter.
What a large ribbon, huh? I mean, a large rose.
Yes.
Don Jaime.
Jaime was there, and Ness Jardin.
Oh, is that Ness?
Yes, Ness.
President of the
We
CCP.
coordinate. Yes, we coordinate a lot of
And the
music.
soon-to-be senator again.
My son, who's an art collector.
Is he?
Miguel is an art. Oh, that's my son Miguel Manuel and his in-laws Ramon and Yoli Garcia who bought this painting. Yes.
He didn't have to twist their arms for it, did he?
No.
No, I'm sure not.
Oh, this is Ambassador Jorge Domecq, and that is one of my favorite paintings, Tuscany. Tuscany.
They're big. Your paintings are big.
Yes,
no?
they're
The
quite big.
watercolors
Oh,
are
and
big.
there's Marie-Chris Sobel and Lisette Coanco, who were very kind enough to come. Marie-Chris bought one of my Chinese paintings.
Okay.
Oh, that's my
The
husband's group.
Barkada.
Yes, Altenco,
Boy.
Mike
That's
Toledo.
Attorney Mike.
My
Yeah, that's
son,
Al pala, no?
Inigo, Louis,
Uh-huh.
there. The ambassador of Israel.
There's your
and
daughter,
his wife.
Steph.
My daughter, Steph. Yes, and Silvana, the wife of the ambassador. Oh, my two beautiful grandchildren. Children of Miguel.
Yeah.
She pays very well, the
You-
little
So
girl.
adorable.
You don't do portraits yet.
My first target is to do a portrait of her.
I was thinking
and
of
this
that.
boy.
Since this is the sort of like play. Oh, there's a bird that you
It's my
said you.
Chinese bird.
Uh-uh.
That, and then there's Tuscany under. And there's my.
This is
my
also
bus.
Catalan, no? He's
Catalan,
holding a
yes.
cesta.
Yes. I didn't. After I finished these paintings, I said, "Oh, I do the people elongated." That was me.
Then they look slimmer. No need for
It must be
Photoshop.
my. Oh, that's a
I like
a
this.
port in Tuscany,
Lovely.
and this one I.
Now, when you do your watercolors like of these landscapes, do you actually sit out there and start it there and then you finish indoors or something?
No, I take photos.
Okay.
I
you
take
base it on
photos.
photos.
It's very difficult for me to do it out, you know.
Talaga.
It's this is the
This
one
Chinese.
I created myself. The background, the everything, and to put the girl there and those two
This is straight from your
lovers.
mind.
From my mind.
It's a product of your mind.
I feel like the girl on top of that mountain. And this one I did in Guangzhou. I
Okay.
painted that in Guangzhou.
From a real
Yes.
scenery. Okay.
And this is on gold paper. It's really gold paper that I got in Hong Kong, which Pastor Hao showed. And this is the Gossip Girl.
Oh, I like that.
These are the Gossip Girls.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see how my mind is far.
I still
Yes.
can get over the bifurcation between Chinese and Western guy. Parang, I mean, nothing wrong with it. You know, it's impressive how it's a different outlook. I think when you're doing
Yes.
Chinese watercolor.
But what I do now is with my Western watercolor, I put my Chinese strokes.
Oh,
And
so you're merging
You're
the
merging
two.
the two
merge,
together,
I
yes.
merge in it. And in my Chinese, I try to merge the Western, but Chinese is you have to draw one straight line. And sometimes it's very difficult for me because rice paper is very thin. I cannot see very well whether my brush is already on the paper. So sometimes it just it
becomes a
blondes.
blob.
Okay, another paper.
But come to think of it, now that you mention it, even in those Catalan landscapes, or like the Toreadors and the Calutari, parang there's something oriental, no? There's an oriental touch to it.
And that was my first experience of drawing humans. I mean, a whole body. And I realized it's elongated. I said, maybe that's my style.
It's like when some of the French Impressionists incorporated some parang Japanese techniques or motifs into their paintings, no? It didn't occur to me immediately. But now that you talk about it, yeah, there is something oriental.
I'm very into impressionism. I'm a very impressionist painter, and I did one of painting of oh, in my house.
An impressionist.
No,
Uh,
one who paints his dark black skin. Oh,
Modernist.
no, he's a very well-known painter. You have to forgive me. I have brain damage.
Because I think you're into the creativity so much na, no? So it sort of pushes away all the trivia.
No, he's
All the
not trivial.
factual
It's very
information.
big. I copied his painting and I can't remember. He's the one that paints black, the people dark. In the
The people in his works are
in
dark.
his works are dark from Malaysia and all that. Very well known. You know, I'm sure.
But so,
Pardon me.
what's your next thematic exhibit? I'm sure you have plans already.
By the way, I only do my exhibit for the purpose of charity. 2009, I was asked by my classmates in Assumption because we were celebrating our golden anniversary as graduates of Assumption. They asked me if I could do my exhibit, and I said, all right. I had 45 paintings already, and the proceeds, part of the proceeds went to Maliway,
Malibay,
of
okay.
Assumption,
Uh-huh.
and this exhibit, part of the proceeds went to Rayamar Outreach Foundation, which deals with homeless children,
Okay.
and it's a charitable foundation of my daughter-in-law Ana Garcia. So I will only do it for charity
Such an
purposes.
enviable position. I want to be like you, a painter philanthropist.
It actually pains me to part with my paintings, really. I should have brought my other photos, card like that of the old, of 2009. And when I look at them and I say, oh, I made that.
Yes.
And now, what are you working on after this? What's the next exhibit likely going to be about?
I'm into birds again.
Ah.
Because my daughter said, Mommy, I will be your manager. You do the birds, landscape. Because all the birds were sold out.
Yes, there's really something
Yeah, yeah.
about birds.
Oh.
Yeah, people seem to also feel like birds have spirits in them.
Yes.
My mom loves birds.
Yeah.
She has all sorts of trinkets. Anything bird, she will purchase.
Kanina,
Yeah.
Vicky and I were talking briefly about the last exhibit dun sa Bencab Museum, the birds of Tubataha, di ba? Where Bencab does the birds with his usual oils or acrylics, and it's Melvin Calderon, the good photographer. So it's a two-man exhibit.
Last Sunday, I think, I saw the article of Edu Harke about birds.
Yes.
I cut them out.
Mm.
And I said, I'm going to paint 3 of them. They're so beautiful. I don't know, I really love birds. I feel like I want to fly.
Next time I see you at that venue, which we will be discussing in the second part, I know what to give you. There's this book of
Oh, I
poems.
thought you were going to give her live
Birds.
birds.
It's all about the Philippine birds.
Yes.
Ang galing, this
Yes.
poet from Cebu, Simeon Dumdum Jr., he writes, and each poem is crafted in a different traditionalist manner, and he writes about all the birds. Ang ganda.
No, the one who's a poet in my family is Stephanie.
Yes,
She
she
writes
writes
so
very
well,
well.
yes. I remember I used to have 2, the very loud ones. The white with yellow, what do you call that? With a yellow.
The Kilyawan, Oriole, or Tucan? No, we
No,
don't
not
have a
the
Tucan.
Tucan.
The one with the yellow thing, they're white.
Uh,
With a big cage in my house, and every morning they were so loud. One day I opened the cage and set them free.
Because they were so loud.
No, because I said,
Macaws, or are these macaws or
not
toucans?
macaws, so they're big. I'm sorry, but I forgot again. I will remember.
So when you do paint birds, what do you base them on? Photos?
Or
Photographs?
actual birds.
Photos, or I myself take the photo.
Ah,
You can't paint a bird like that. they fly too much. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, of course. You can't sit
you
them.
can't sit there.
Has to be photographs.
Yes, and then I don't like painting. When I paint outdoors, it has to be in the country because a lot of people will be there, and then my concentration will.
You become the gracious hostess.
Aside from birds, Ma'am Vicky, where do you draw your inspiration in terms of, like, how do you select the subjects for your
I
paintings?
love landscapes. And then sometimes, I have even two war paintings. In the newspaper, I saw this war, Afghanistan war and all that, cut them out and I painted them.
You did.
But my children said, do not put that out because it's a downer. It's about,
Nobody wants it on his wall.
But I wanted, at that time it was like a pain in my heart.
I would love to
war.
see those. Yeah.
I should have brought them here.
Seascapes.
I love
Yeah,
seascapes.
that one you had the boats.
I
on
should
the,
have
in that
brought
lagoon.
the last,
Uh-uh.
the yacht, no, the sailboat I just finished painting. Should have brought it.
Pasig River. You haven't done Pasig River yet, or
No, it's a sailboat that was leaning this way. That's another subject of mine.
historical
After birds,
landmarks.
after birds, I want to do sailboats because I love boats.
The freedom again.
Yes,
Yes,
and
they both have
before
to do with freedom.
before every Friday I would go the boat out. I go out, but now we don't have a boat, so never mind.
Must say something. Birds, the
Boats.
freedom of sailing, keyholes.
He's
What
wondering
do
where
they
the
have in
keyholes
common?
came from.
Again, it's a matter of
It's
getting
like
out or
sometimes when you want to go somewhere, you don't exactly know where you want to go. So it's a choice for me. What keyhole do I choose?
I love the keyholes, actually. The
love
keyholes
that.
might be my
Ganda ng motif.
favorite.
Beautiful.
And
And
it's
then I
pretty
put
conceptual.
I got a lock on one. So then
Yes,
that's when my
exactly.
mind says, locked, you cannot go in there.
Was that sold, ma'am? The series
All
of
the
keyholes?
three were sold except the two small ones
I see.
because I wanted the whole thing to be
Yes.
sold so that it would
as a
be
set.
As a
oh,
set,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's very effective seeing all five now.
Yes.
The
Thematic.
two small ones I gave to my daughter Stephanie to put in her restaurant.
What about doors and windows?
Oh,
I'm sure
my
you've done a
first
few.
exhibit, should have brought it. I had two doors that were part of the collection. And what else did you say?
Windows.
Windows.
Windows? Oh yeah, I had some windows there. Windows. As I said, it depends on my head on that day. And my professor Johnny Ventosa would tell me, all right, but you have to let it flow, let it flow. I paint my own way, so I can't follow everybody that paints watercolor, right? The way I want to paint it is the way I paint it. So my professor says you have to let the water flow. Okay, depends on where, depends on how it enters my mind.
Hasn't your daughter Stephanie ever asked you to paint her culinary creations? Like, Ma, do a still life of my food.
No. One, as a matter of fact, she's getting married on February, and she at Masbisibi, and she wanted seashells. So here I was at before my exhibit, and I was trying to finish a painting, and she said, "Mommy, please, I need it for." I had to draw 3 shells for her. She's beautiful. She put it in her invitation.
Yeah, great.
Okay, for my daughter, I do anything. And then when she opened her restaurant, she said, "Mommy, I need fruits and vegetables." So I put on the table, this is actual, fruits and vegetables, four creations. And the background, I just painted what color I wanted.
It's nice to have to commission your own mother, no?
I
To
know.
order your
I
own
know.
mother to.
I wish
I
I
need
could do that
decor.
with my mama.
I think we've run out of time for our first half. Very interesting conversation we're having with Miss Vicky Zubiri. We will dwell upon the second half of her, the second part of her personality as a cultural advocate and philanthropist. We'll see you in a while.